Welcome back, you guys, and at this point you must be sick and tired of seeing my face, but you guys, if you're back, welcome to the tactical segment for today's video. For the first part, I'll focus on all things tactics, breaking down what we need to do versus Man City from a defensive and attacking point of view. And for the second part of today's video, I'll have one esteemed company again who's going to give us further information to Man City and what we need to expect from our opponents. But before I get into anything, you guys, remember today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app, and as I constantly stress, it really is the best football companion app to have. Whenever it's a match day, the app really comes out in its full glory. So if you guys want to get it, you'll find it in the link in the description below. And now we move straight into the tactical segment for today's video. I'll be focusing on what we need to do to beat Man City in tomorrow's game. And to do this, I'll break things down into two segments: how our defensive plan is going to be and what our offensive plan is going to be. To start with things, let's focus on how we'll defend off the ball. And as we typically see with Lampard in this team, he likes his teams to be in a 4-1-4-1 formation off the ball. That's Jorginho by himself as a DM, and of course a flat midfield 4 here with the wingers dropping back. However, you guys, due to the nature of the opposition we're playing against in tomorrow's game, I'm expecting us to use a flat midfield 5. That means we'll have a flat midfield 3 here, and that means Willian and Mason Mount will drop deep to help the fullbacks and of course help jack the runs of the fullbacks from Man City. Now, the main reason why I see us using a flat midfield 3, you guys, is because we need to defend between the lines. This area here in particular, this area and these areas here is where Man City are extremely dangerous. And by having this defensive formation off the ball, it means that we can go man v man with Man City's players in these areas. Now, I'm going to make things a bit more accurate from Man City's point of view. We know that they like to use inverted fullbacks, a back 2, and of course guys like Silva and Gundogan looking to play within these areas. Now, as you guys can see on screen, by defending off the ball like this, it means that we do get that numerical advantage, and I think there's going to be another tactical ploy that Lampard uses, and that's going to be his faith in the fullback in tomorrow's game. Now, I see Reece and Emerson playing, and because these guys are much better than Azpi and Marcos Alonso, it means that Lampard can trust them to defend 1v1 by themselves. Now, this could really help us. As you can see here in the half space, let's say your Willians and your Mason Mounts are, moving more in field and we're becoming more narrower and more compact. This then means that Reece and Emerson have the ability to defend 1v1 against Sterling and Mahrez. Now, of course, that's not going to be easy, but let's not forget the qualities that both fullbacks possess. And of course, with our wingers, let's say that City tried to create overloads by using, let's say, a Mendy to attack in behind, or Cancelo or Walker. Well, that means we have the wingers who can follow their runs, and this means that we can still keep our 3 main guys in these central positions. Now that you guys know our defensive game plan, let's focus on the final part: how we need to attack Man City in tomorrow's game. Now, this is how Man City typically tend to attack, and the reason why I've left this on screen is because there's areas in the field in which we need to target against Man City. You guys can probably see it yourselves, it's down the flanks. With Man City, the beauty of using inverted fullbacks means that the DM gets protection around them, meaning that they're not so susceptible on counterattacks. And of course, on the ball, whenever guys need to play the ball backwards, there's constant passing options available, and that's how Man City play, because they're a team that likes to control the game in the opposition's half. But there is one weakness to playing like this, and that's all the spaces available down the flanks. Now, with Man City, because they're very good in a pressing point of view, a very fit team, they usually tend to make up for this space available by using a very intense press. But the difference this season is that Man City's squad's a bit thin right now, and a lot of players are getting older. Guys like your Agueros, your Silvas, they don't press the same way, and when you're a team that plays with such a high press, every single player has to be on point. And I think one of the most key players to really help us transition from defense to attack is going to be that Jorginho and Kovacic relationship, because as I'm constantly stressing, we need to see Kova as the Frankie de Jong of our team. His press resistance, the combinational plays between him and Jorginho as well. These two have been so vital in helping us create these spaces open here. And when you have guys like your Williams who like to move more in field, and your Mason Mounts, and N'Golo Kante is very good at breaking the lines and getting forward as well, well, it means that they have a lot of space to play in, which means that they can carry the ball. And this is going to be useful because we want to disrupt Man City's defensive organisation. Jorginho and Cover are going to be extremely key, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of strategies to help these guys find the ball and help turn defence to attack. One thing I expect us to do is the use of our fullbacks in tomorrow's game. You know, with Reece and with Emerson, two technical fullbacks, it means that, let's say these guys are short of a man, these guys are good enough to become a passing option by moving more in fields. So let's say the ball's on the right hand side, you'll see Reece doing it, and if you see the ball down the left hand side, then expect to see Emerson doing the same thing as well. As I'm stressing, these two players are really important. How many times this season, you guys, have you seen these guys beat a team's press by themselves? You know, beat the midfield lines, because normally the midfield players will be tasked with having to close these guys down to press them. Once Cover's one of the most press-resistant midfield players in the world. How many times have we seen him just single-handedly carry the ball into these spaces here, where he has an option in Willian down the right-hand side, who you tend to see Cover make his passes to. And of course, when you've got Mason Mount playing closer to Tammy and Kante doing the same thing as well, it's going to look exciting, you guys. You know, with Tammy Abraham, you know, such a versatile forward who can hold the ball up, come short to become a passing option, or most importantly, and something I expect him to do in tomorrow's game, make those runs in behind, stretching Man City's defensive line. Now, of course, you guys, just so I complete the tactical segment for today, let's not forget the important role again of our fullbacks in an offensive point of view. Now, of course, with the spaces being available down the flanks, it means that great crossing ability is going to be needed. Now, down the left-hand side in particular, you know, Mason Mount isn't going to be the guy that's going to get past 2 or 3 players, but he's important because of his build-up play, his link-up play, and that movement in behind. So I expect him to drift down that left-hand side a lot in particular, to allow Emerson to go past his man, where Emerson can use his great dribbling ability to good effect. And down the opposite flank, you guys, you know, Reece James is one of the best crossers I've seen on the ball for a very long time. And, you know, in a game like this tomorrow, where he's going to have space potentially to play in, you know, his crossing in particular is going to be very important for guys like your Tammys and, you know, the forwards and, you know, your Mason Mounts and your N'Golo Kantes, especially because he can play a lot of great, accurate first-time balls. So, guys, you know, that's going to complete the tactical segment for today. As you can tell by me, I'm feeling a bit optimistic. Now, of course, there are realities, and those realities are we going to be clinical enough against Man City? Because that's been our major thing this season. You know, we're susceptible to making individual errors, and we're susceptible to not taking our chances in front of goal. Well, that's a natural thing to expect from such a young, inexperienced team. As these guys get older and play more, that's an aspect in their games they'll get much better in. But against Man City, where, you know, opportunities might be hard at times, if you do get the right opportunity, are you going to take that chance? That is one thing we'll find out in tomorrow's game. Now, for my score prediction, I've gone for a 2-1 win. That's what I personally feel, but for the sake of this match review, I'm going to be going for a 2-2 draw, I think, with Man City's frailties in defence, as well as our inexperience at times. I think that maybe the game might balance out in general. Now that the tactics part is out of the way, we move on to Esteem Company, and he's going to give us further information into what to expect from Man City. Maybe you could let us all know, who are your most informed players right now at Man City? Who do you think are the danger men that's really going to cause us a lot of issues for this game on Saturday?
Well, it's obviously Raheem Sterling, and like he's possibly one of the most informed players in world football. I mean, well, he is one of the most informed players in world football. He's a beast. He's growing in stature. I know there's been the stuff recently, Gomez and all that kind of stuff, but away from that, I don't think that's going to affect him. Then you're looking at. It's interesting to see he comes back as well from injuries. We don't really know who's going to be back after this. There are rumours that David Silva may be back after that, and Ederson may be back, which is, I mean, those two being around is so important.
Yeah.
Like Ederson, I think, is really key, weirdly, as well, because Bravo against Liverpool didn't really make him. He's just small, you know.
Yeah.
The keeper is small. It's like the ball was just like that far away from him, but he's 5'11". He's like my height. He's not a goal. He's a small goalkeeper, and then you've got someone who's 6'4". They're going to get to it so him just being in net weakens us in general, because he's not as good a passer for one as Ederson, as we all know. Ederson's a freak that way. He doesn't have that same steely
anomaly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just Ederson's a bit of a freak of nature in that way, and then him being back will instill confidence in the team.
To be honest, I think I like Ederson a bit more if he didn't have the stupid neck tattoos. I think that's unforgivable. It really is, and it's just like, it's typical footballer confidence. You know, you got so much money. It's just like you can do what you want. Hey, you're right. He's consistent with it at least. Yeah, an emoji smart. I mean, let's just forget about that guy. But anyway, obviously moving on, and you know, it's nice that you mentioned Raheem Sterling. I think that we've got another talented youngster. He goes by the name of Hudson-Odoi. And I think there's a lot of similarities between him and Sterling. And I think if you're Hudson-Odoi, you need to look at Sterling, because that could be your potential. That should be the motivation for your career path, basically. Yeah, your reference point. That's the person you should follow to get to that level. Yeah, I remember the days where people thought that Sterling, was a waste of time, him going to Man City. He wasn't going to get games. He can't score. His shooting ability was awful. He'll never get good at that. And now he's consistently getting 20+ goals per season. And he's just so versatile and multifaceted. And listen, Pep obviously saw that there was a serious player, Raheem Sterling, and I think that is the difference sometimes. You need a manager, a coach that really believes in you, because 100%. Then. And I think that's what Hudson-Odoi is going to have with Frank Lampard, because Lampard's been speaking to Callum all summer, and I think that I'd like to see Callum play.
Well, isn't it? He's young,
of course. He just turned 19. Yeah,
it takes a while. He took De Bruyne last season. He was playing when he came back from injury, but he wasn't himself. You could tell his head and his body weren't quite synced up. He was trying things, but they were like the passes, the way De Bruyne plays, and even this season he's not fully at his best yet. But I know it sounds weird given how many assists he's got, but he has been off the boil the last couple of months. But basically, the way De Bruyne plays, he plays kind of risky percentage passes, and his head's not quite attuned with his body. There's those passes they're going to just get cut out. And there's a lot of that last season, and especially for a younger player like Hudson-Odoi, who's nowhere near as experienced and nowhere near as senior as De Bruyne. Of course, he's going to have a slightly slow spell when he comes back from injury. He's going to take a bit of time, and I've seen a bit of stuff online from some people.
It's typical reactionary. It's typical reactionary. Of course.
People probably wanted him to play 6 months ago, and now he's playing. They're saying he's not. It's
that quick. That quick they can change their opinions like that. But you know what? Let's focus on more pressing matters. I mean, that's probably the right word to say. But you know what? I want to find out from you, Man City this season. What's been your major weaknesses that you guys have faced from a tactical perspective?
I mean, a lot of it is circumstance. I think. I think there's a few factors. I don't think any one factor has done Manchester City in. There's been a little bit of bad luck, but then there's bad luck involved in everything. I don't think we'd be sat having the exact same conversation now if Aymeric Laporte was playing. Put it that way. He's up there with Van Dijk as the best defender in the league, in my humble opinion. I think and I don't think you realise how good someone is until they're gone. In general, it's one of those things where as soon as they're out of the team, you're like, wow, we are half the team defensively, like in terms of the composure he brings. And it's little things like as well how he's left-footed. I know Pep really values that ability to switch it out wide and either and he's just pinging it about and he's so comfortable. And as a result, now we've got he's the leader in that defence. And I didn't think I realised that beforehand, but Otamendi and Stones both look better alongside Laporte. Put them together and they look lost, and they look completely lost. And
because that's exactly, because it comes down to the defending being a partnership at the end of the day. You need to feel confidence in your partner, and guys like Laporte, this is why they're worth the money that they are, because they help improve a team exponentially from a defensive point of view. And
partnership with the left back as well, because we've had Mendy's come back kind of finally, and he's not really been playing with Laporte, and then so essentially you've got Fernandinho dropping there, so you've got a 34-year-old midfielder learning how to play centre back who hasn't got a partnership with the left back who's kind of come back into the team, or it's Angelino's come back into the team kind of thing. So you've got two kind of new left backs kind of basically, like they may as well be new, playing with an old converted defensive midfielder alongside, you've got basically, and you've got Cancelo sometimes as well, so you've got essentially a really fragmented back four, and that confusion, there's no consistency. And when you come into a team, what you really need is you need a settled back, a settled unit alongside you. If you're going to be a new right back, you want a settled centre back partnership and left back to play. Of course. Alongside. As it is, we've got so many new players in so many different roles, and that combined with the fact that we've got Rodri, and Rodri's fantastic, don't get me wrong.
And on that note, you guys, I'm gonna wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm in EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. Come on, Chelsea. I'll see you guys tomorrow.